I couldn't believe that strangers were telling me these intimate things about their life. I don't get nervous. I just don't possess that boom. I think I'm running it fine.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think spirituality plays a huge part in everything that I do.
So that's everybody. First of all, give a big round of applause for Karishma out here. She is the first human at Humans of Bombay. I love how she says that she's the first human at Humans of Bombay. And she has interviewed many people. Okay, I have seen her interview with Modi, with industrialist of India, Ratan Tata, a startup guy, Ankur Warikoo, celebs like Alia Bhatt, female cricketers like Smriti Madana, Harsha Bhogle, many personalities. She's interviewed a lot of them. She's been awarded by Forbes Asia. I saw on Instagram recently she won an award from DNA, which was an Achievers Award for being the voice of the voiceless. She's done a double majors in industrial economics, and from there went to set up a startup called NOC, which we might talk about in some time. Okay. Which was about positive thinking. And from there, eventually started Humans of Bombay, which you all popularly know. And from there, now she also has a podcast of her own. Okay. And this podcast is called How the Hell Did You Do It? So let's welcome Karishma Mehta one more time, guys. And let's start with the first question. And the first question is, how the hell did you do it? So can you tell them, how did you do that? They're all 21, 22, and you've been there sometime.
Yeah.
And from there, how did you get here? You can tell us anything you like and tell us how do you do it.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, for the warm words. How did I do it? I think I was just 21 and ambitious, and I didn't think that I had limits. And you're like that when you're young. You feel like the world is your oyster, and then you grow up and people tell you to be realistic and to do things differently. That's so wrong. I wish I could go back to that feeling of I can do anything I want, and I think that that's what it was. I was a very sure person after I graduated college. The one thing I knew is that I don't want to work for anybody else.
Wow.
That's the only thing I knew.
Is that because you're Gujarati or something?
Yeah, it runs in my blood. Father's a businessman. But I knew also that I don't want to join what he does. That's super boring.
Okay.
So I came back and I decided to take a bit of a sabbatical.
Okay.
So my parents were just like, wasting time, wasting money, wasting energy. Yeah, not doing anything, or basically doing nothing. But I was reading. I was kind of figuring out what is it that I really want to do. I've always been a writer, and I've always been a voracious reader. I still am. I read a book a week till date, if not more. I wanted to do something in that space. So I wanted to start a digital magazine. How many of y'all know Thought Catalog? Have you all read Thought Catalog ever? Like, it's these amazing quotes on like love and life and friendship, and like I'm very inspired by words. So I wanted to start that. And Humans of Bombay was going to be one column in that larger magazine.
Okay.
And then I forgot about the larger magazine.
Then came Humans of Bombay.
Yeah, then came Humans of Bombay, and then my life just changed. And I was like, okay, this is what I really want to do. And I know that it matters, and I know that it counts for something. Even though it was very random when I began. Because I was going on the street, I was what they call an OMA. My COO just taught me that word.
Okay.
And OMA is a one-man army. Which means that at that point in time, I was going on shoot. I was taking interviews. I was photographing. I was writing the interviews and then editing and uploading.
Everything.
And I never had operated professional camera, but I just learned on the job. But I just loved it. I loved that time. I loved going out there and speaking to people. And I couldn't believe that strangers were telling me these intimate things about their life. And I was like, that's the feeling I want to chase. And I've been chasing it for 9+ years.
Wow. That's... You know what's very interesting is that I came across one of her TED Talks, and in that she said something very interesting. As a business owner, I could relate to this question. And she says that for the first 3 years, and tell me if I'm wrong, okay? But you said this. In the first 3 years, Humans of Bombay had no money.
Yeah.
I mean, they did not have any income, no revenue source.
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
2.5 years, no revenue source. And I understand that every business needs money, right? So how do you do it? Like, did you put a deadline? By when should you start making money, or it didn't matter at all?
No, it mattered. Not just wasting time. But I did exercise a certain amount of privilege.
I'll ask you a very personal question. So in my life, for the first 2 years, very similar things happened. I did not make money, but I still had to answer my dad every year. Did you go through that?
He still tries to make me answer today.
You're still answerable? Yeah.
I'm still, like, he'll call me. It's like, do you know? What is this consultant charging you? I said, yeah, I know, just relax. I think it's a bit much. I was like, I think I'm running it fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You know, I also have read somewhere that Humans of Bombay, and I don't know how many of you guys know about this, but it also raises a lot of money.
Yeah.
For a lot of really nice causes, special causes which people probably don't attend to sometimes, And there's this case of this guy known as Ali Bhai.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ali Bhai has spent 23 years in jail, okay, for a crime that he did not commit. And now Humans of Bombay takes up this chapter as a story, really works on it, raises 23 lakhs. Okay, so he spends 23 years in jail, he gets 23 lakhs against that.
Yeah.
Okay, we raised 23 lakhs, Humans of Bombay raises 23 lakhs and then helps him out. Tell me, how does this happen? How, in my opinion, in India, you are one of the few who can raise money for such causes, over a very short period of time. So, let's give it to her for this, I don't think many people can do this. Yeah. Has this been your intention all time long, or what?
Yeah, I mean, beyond a point, you go, likes and shares and comments are only that fulfilling or rewarding. And it's so, I'm in digital, my life revolves around these metrics on a lot of days, but at the end of the day, it's not fulfilling your soul. You're just okay, great, we went viral. What next? So the victory is not ours, really. It was when we told his story, and I was just like, I can't believe he spent 23 years in jail for a crime he didn't commit. And then he was released from jail without a single rupee in compensation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then he's lost his youth. He's lost the love of his life. He was orphaned in jail. And then he came out and he didn't know who he was. Obviously, he spent 23 years in jail. And it was difficult for him to do basic things like sleep. Because you've slept in jail for 23 years. And when I told his story, it broke all our hearts. And we decided that, you know what, it's nearly not as enough, 23 lakhs for 23 years in jail. But I feel like that's the least we as a society could do. And then we told his story. And I think we raised it in 12 hours, 13
12
hours.
Wow, guys.
And I've said this. So we told him, I got on call to tell him that we've raised this money. And he was crying. He was so overtaken with emotion. And then he said, the world is not a bad place.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And if a man who's been through that can feel that, then we have a lot of power in our hands. You can go, you can extend yourself, be kind to people, make a difference. And then Ali Bhai got married the next year. Yeah. Wow. And then we did his love story.
Wow, oh, you guys covered his love story.
Yeah, it was really cute. He runs a little shop in Kashmir now.
Oh, wow, nice.
And he invited us to his wedding, and he was deeply upset that I was not going for his wedding. And I was like, but I can't come. It's 2 weeks, I can't come.
I wish Ali Bhai watches this and feels that, she's feeling bad about not being able to attend the function.
Yeah.
But really cool. So was this your intention all time long? That was Humans of Bombay created for raising money? Or did that just come naturally as a path somewhere in the middle? How did that happen?
So I'll tell you what, I'm not a very, very thorough planner in terms of what we will or will not do. I like to be fluid in that case. I've always, even when we're budgeting, we account for variable, just projects that pop up because it just happens. Was it my intention from the very beginning? No. But did we adapt and make it happen. Yeah, like we were like, okay, this is what works, and we can do a lot more of this. We can save lives, we can change lives. So whenever the moment is opportune, we exercise it.
My question is, how are you able to attract all of this? It's insane. I must congratulate you on this. We appreciate your work, which is why we want you to come and inspire these guys.
Yeah.
How are you attracting this? Is it your focus that you want to meet the right people? What is it that's bringing all the right things towards you, and it's growing this and it's helping humanity altogether?
I speak about this often and not often enough because it's changed my life. I'm a deeply spiritual person. I meditate, I align. It's a part of my life that I wish I'd started when I was your age. You guys are 21, 22. I wish I was into like a meditation practice back then. I think I would have done more things with my life. But I think a lot of it is because I'm aligned and I'm centered. And I just, at the beginning of the day, I'm not overwhelmed, even though there is so many overwhelming things happening. So I think spirituality plays a huge part in everything that I do.
And that really helps you focus?
Yeah, it helps me focus. It helps me center. It gives you so much clarity. Like I'm able to do 100 things because I've removed 100 things more because I've removed that half an hour to meditate. And a lot of people say that who has the time, but if you don't have the time, you should meditate more.
Really?
Yeah.
When do you meditate? Morning, night?
Morning. I wake up at like 6 every morning.
Wow.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, it's a golden hour. So I wake up, I meditate, I read, I journal, I work out. I'm like, at 9 o'clock, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm like, whatever's there. Let's just go, get through the list. Yeah.
And what time do you come back then?
I don't know. It varies. It varies? It varies.
But you can have a long day.
I can have a very long day. I can go.
And then you still wake up at 6?
Yeah. I still wake up at 6. And now my body clock is just there. Like I'm up.
They don't even come to class at 8 a.m. on time.
I was also partying at 21. That's all good.
So, Karishma, you have interviewed so many people. Starting with Modi, Tata, Vidya Balan. I think Manoj Bajpayee was recently there. Yeah. Tell us which one was your favorite, or any one of these which actually hit you in the heart and you took something away, and it's now become a part of your life. Anything like that? So many people you've met.
Mr. Tata, of course. He has the ability that very few people have. He'll make you feel good about yourself by just being him.
Okay.
He's not doing anything special. He's just being him. And you are like, I'm the most important person in the world right now.
All his attention.
Yeah, because he makes you feel that way. And I've met him a couple of times. And every time I'm like, can I meet you again? And then can I meet you again? It's not enough.
It's not enough?
Yeah.
Wow, nice. We teach our students learn one subject called podcast marketing. Yeah.
Enroll me. I don't know. Yeah.
But you do so many of these interviews, right? How do you plan these questions? Don't you ever get nervous? You're meeting some of these people. Do you ever get nervous? Like, what is like your first 10 minutes before you meet them? And how do you how do you structure your conversation? I'm trying to teach you guys some podcast marketing through this, okay?
Okay. So the first thing is that I do none of that.
Okay.
I show up.
Okay.
So we have a very strong research team who puts in a lot of effort, and I cannot take the credit for it. We go through the questions then, and then I know a little bit because I'm doing like the macro, like, okay, the theme that I want to go into. But the nitty-gritty of questions is not mine. It's the team. Yeah. I don't get nervous. I just don't possess that bone. So I just, yeah, like I've just been like very okay to be around people. So I guess that's why the career matched, because I was just like, I'm a qualms. Like I can walk up to somebody and be like, what's your story?
And which story hit you? Any of these?
Like in the podcast?
No, you said Ratan Tata's story.
Oh, yeah. But that was not a podcast. But yeah, his story
was something that really got you.
Yeah.
Wow. What's very interesting is I have actually noticed Humans of Bombay change or adapt, I'd say, over the last few years especially. I think I've seen one video of yours where it started out just as photos.
Yeah.
Then I think it became reels.
Yeah.
Now it's podcast format.
Yeah.
I think all these formats have been changing, right? Do you think you're doing this for the algorithm?
Which is fluid. Yeah, there is an algorithm, and we have to subscribe to it. Because if you're telling a person's story, it's just unfair that we're not doing the best that we can to make it reach as many people as possible. With the show, How the Hell Did I Do It? It was just a very natural progression, as there are many natural progressions that are happening in the business to further storytelling. I just posted on my story today that we're the official storytelling partners for Rajasthan Royals of the IPL.
Wow.
I love cricket, but that's not why. It was because it's so easy to see players and take it for granted, right? Like, he's not performing today, or what a bad player. So we just figured that if you get the emotional quotient even into large institutions like this, you kind of understand that behind the player there's a human being who's allowed to have a bad day.
Sure.
And not perform. Like, you don't perform every day of your life.
Sure.
I don't have 100% good days. Why is that the weight of that expectation, right? So we just want to further storytelling in the country and globally. Yeah.
Wow. What's the next plan for Humans of Bombay?
Oh, so many. There's
global storytelling, because now, before this, the stories were Bombay people some time ago.
Yeah.
Now I think it's
pan India.
It's pan India.
Yeah.
And now?
Now we're getting into. We want to take these stories that we've been telling on digital and convert them into either shows or films or short films.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the natural progression also for us. But there's so much stuff. Like, we're doing an event at the end of this year. It's called Bombay Storytelling Festival. We're doing a bunch of IPs on YouTube. We have 2 or 3 shows coming up. I'm going to be running another show. It's called the Humans of Bombay show, where we'll be interviewing real life people. There's so much happening, but all of it, at the core of it, is to further storytelling in whichever format.
Because you're doing so much storytelling, I want to ask you, this is all content, right? And these guys are digital marketing aspirants out here.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are going to be content marketers in the future. What elements of digital marketing are you using as Karishma Mehta, as Humans of Bombay, as the podcast? Are we using any specific elements, like technically being sound in some parts of digital marketing, or being strategically sound in, maybe Google ads, YouTube ads, titles, SEO, content, hashtags? What are some of those few things that you are picky about, or your team is picky about, so that you're not doing an unfair job for whoever story you're posting? So any of these digital marketing hacks or compulsions?
So this is a fact that we're very proud of at Humans of Bombay. We have never paid a rupee in digital marketing.
Wow.
For ads, for followers, for the sponsored posts. So everything that we build, and every person who follows us because they want to. So that's 5 million people. And we've never paid. I can tell you what kind of content works on which day. I can tell you.
Yeah, tell us something about that.
Yeah. So we have like hustle stories in the first half of the week.
Okay.
Because your brain is in work mode. And then the second half of the week, we'll have feel-good content. We'll have light stuff because you don't want to be overloaded. Things like that. The best times that we post are either 11 a.m., 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 9 p.m.
Note that down, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hashtags? Tagging?
Yeah.
Sharing.
So we tag locations and things. But so this is a lot of like data that we read. So we have data analysts now who kind of tell us that, look, this is your downpour of content and this is how you build forward. But we've never done any form of digital marketing. So for me to comment on that would be wrong because I actually don't know. I have never, I saw one of your reels which said that, do you wonder when you look up something or when you say something and it shows up? And I was like, yeah, how does this happen? I have no idea. Yeah.
remarketing.
Yeah.
She doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Right? That's cool, right? Think about it. What a content marketing machine, right?
Yeah.
Right? But that's pretty cool, right? It's adless content marketing, having 5 million followers. Let's give it up for Karishma, guys. You know, a lot of our students in the future. Okay, how many of you guys are content writers or have liked content writing at some time in your life or want to be a content writer or have done so? Raise your hands up wide. Up, up, up.
Wow.
Okay, we have
Fun.
some career aspirants out here.
Amazing.
Your team, you, all of y'all put together are India's best, maybe better, globally, I don't know, content writing specialists, right? Any specific things that you'd like to tell them that over their next few years, they should pay attention to in terms of content writing, in terms of storytelling, so that, you know, over the next few years, they know how to get it right. Anything, any advice for them?
Yeah, I think that the first thing even when we're training people who we induct into the team is that just write from the heart, let it allow it to be raw and real, and then we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out backwards. Sure. So I think that when you're writing, don't have certain frameworks. If you think that one angle works for something and another for something else, just go with it. We also we kind of structure our sentences in a way that you don't have to spend a lot of time, right? They're like short, but they capture the point, they capture the essence. But then there are closings which require that long, you know, the closure to the story. So keep it fluid. And I think, this is so basic, but so often the grammar is off. And just simple things like that.
I hate grammar being off.
Yeah, just simple things like proofread when you send out things. The amount of letters he gets, and it's like typos, you know. And I know that happens, but like it's attention to detail that stands out. Like we recently hired somebody because their cover letter was just so refreshingly honest, being like, "Listen, I want this salary because you know Bombay is expensive to live in." And I was like, yeah, I feel you. So just simple things. Keep it simple. Do the basics right.
Okay, it's 2023 and Chat GPT is here and AI is here, right? And you know, IIDE is going to be taking a masterclass very soon.
Wow.
On Chat GPT.
Please invite me.
Yeah. Can you tell us, has your team explored this? Because there's so much going on, right? To improve efficiency or anything like that? We are.
And we will be doing it because we have this one project that we're getting into this year. This is one project that we're doing. It has to do with storytelling, but a different style of storytelling. It's not Humans of Bombay storytelling.
Okay.
And there's a lot of design element and a lot of visual context and visual imagery. I think we will be using a certain amount of this
of ChatGPT or AI or anything like that. You know, we are actually telling our students these days that if they don't know how to use any of these AI tools, impossible to get a job.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can write, but
I'll never get a job anywhere. So screwed. Yeah.
You don't need a job. Okay. So, also at the same time, apart from Humans of Bombay as a blog, how many of you guys want to be like influencers or content creators in the future? Or are already trying? Raise your hands. Let me see. Wow. Content creators? Any more content creators? Raise your hands nicely. Yeah, it's okay. You can see. What do you do to become an influencer?
I have no idea. Firstly, I found out that I was an influencer very recently. I talk about very specific things. I talk about like politics. I talk about like book recommendations. I'm obsessed with cricket, test cricket. So I'll talk about those things. And I didn't know people would be interested because they're quite like considered like dry subjects.
Yeah, but I think those are different niches, right?
Yeah. So if you're trying to be a content creator, my honest advice would be that build your niche. You can't do everything and have that following, right? Like you have to understand what you're passionate about and then talk more about that. And that's honestly everything that I do. I know books, I know business. I'm well read on politics, so I talk about that. And then people who are interested in my opinions and who want to disagree with me and troll me, follow me because of that.
And with that, we close today's super session. Let's give it up for Karishma.
Thank you. So much fun.
Thank you so much for coming to IIDE, inspiring so many of them, talking about like real life stories from where you have come to how you've reached here. Thank you for sharing some insights, some real stuff with the students. But thank you so much once again from the audience, guys. Thank you so much.